And we should be good to go. Okay, hello. Good morning, good evening, good time zone to everyone. Welcome to Toonkind at 12 FPS. My name is Dew, and um, today I will be playing Love is Blind in a lovely FPS called Tangled in Turmoil, where I'm sure everything is going to be fine. Yeah, don't look at the title card. That's not we're not talking about that. It's not important. We don't acknowledge it. But hey, would my wonderful partner like to introduce themselves and their character?
Hi, everybody. My name is Whis. I am playing Chifley Forde. Did you guys know that it has been about 2 months since I've done any D&D? I'm going a bit crazy. So I am very excited. Yeah, my last FPS was the last one that you and I did, Chip.
Oh my god. She has been chewing at her enclosure.
Uh-huh.
She has been screeching in a sad little voice.
Yes, I in fact have. Oh dear. But yes, this is Tangled in Turmoil, and yeah, we're going to make these two talk about their problems, hopefully, and we're going to be mean about it.
Hopefully.
So yeah, we're going for an angst, hurt, comfort kind of thing. There's going to have backstory stuff come up, so there
Waits at the warnings.
yeah, like
The
especially if it's
warning.
I don't know anything about Lau's backstory triggers because Lau doesn't talk about his backstory yet, but I know Chifley's shit. And Chifley's got some shit. So, yeah, watching this on YouTube, guys, there'll be the trigger warnings in the doobly doo. In the
In the doobly doo.
in
We
the
all know the
description
doobly doo.
box. In the description box. Uh
No, it's the doobly doo now. It's the doobly doo now. That's what it is.
yes, I used to watch Vlogbrothers. Okay, cool. So
Okay. So, how do we want to start this?
well, it's mid-October, mid to late October in Einquell, and it follows the same seasons as the US and the UK, so it is starting to get colder. But it's not winter just yet, so it's still relatively mild, I guess. Like, there's no
It's
snow or anything
pumpkin.
yet.
It's pumpkin spice season.
It's pumpkin spice season, yeah, exactly. Um, and it's been, normal everyday happenings, I guess, for Chifley and Lau. Chifley goes to work, he comes home, he probably gives Lau tiny little crises by giving a small peck on the cheek when he comes home, stuff like that. He's taking it very slow.
I don't know what you're talking about crises for. Lau is a stalwart man. He can take anything that Chifley throws at him. He is so calm and collected about their new situationship. He is so chill all the time. He's got this under control. He knows exactly what he's doing. All is well.
Oh dear. Yeah, but on this particular day, like it was a normal day, a normal evening, and then Chifley retired to bed. I don't know if Lau
Mhm.
keeps normal last hours, but yeah, Chifley went to bed. But it's like 3 in the morning, and I'll get Lau to roll a perception because I know he's great at that.
Oh, so Lau does not keep regular hours, but I think on this particular day, he's probably gone to bed by at least 12. So let's see. Let's do a Persepi. Come on. Oh, you dumb little man. That's a nat one.
Oh, okay.
That's a nat one. So yeah, that's a five in total.
Right. Okay. So Lau's all snuggled up in his nest bed, oblivious to the
Hmm.
world. It's 3 a.m. Maybe it's Soul that notices. Because I think Sol might take issue with the apartment starting to frost over from
I
the
mean,
inside.
I can roll for soul if you want.
Sure, roll for Sol. Why not? It'd be
It would
really
be
funny if neither of them noticed. It'll be a very short FPS.
please, please. Oh yeah, no, soul definitely notices. That's a 21.
Yeah.
That's
It.
21.
Yeah. No, it's coming starting from the front door because these two don't have a internal door yet. I don't think they've gone that far yet. Um, but it's coming from under the front door. It's like starts as frost, and then like there's ice crystals sort of spidering up the sides of the door jamb and things like that. And that's cold and kind of pointy and spreading. That's probably bad, Sol.
Hmm. 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 See, now I need to roll an intelligence for soul because the soul know what they're looking at. Now, on one hand, soul has encountered ice and snow before. On the other hand, they're not the brightest carrot of the bunch. But that's a 19,
I thought you were
so
going to
it's
say they
actually
weren't
an
the
18.
brightest bulb.
No, no,
Well, no, they're a
no, it's
sunflower. They're not a
carrot.
bulb.
Yeah, the
It's
sunflowers come from bulbs?
no, they're a seed based
Hmm.
plant. I think.
Ah, oh yeah, sunflower seeds. Duh. I'm thinking I'm thinking of daffodils. That's what I'm thinking of.
Mm.
Um, yes. Anyway, that's an 18. They look at the ice. They recognize it as unsippable. Um, this is one of the rare nights where they are. Well, not super rare, but this is one of the nights where they're sleeping indoors on their side of the sofa. Um, and they wake up because hey, that's different. This hmm, that's different. That's very different. It's probably going to go over and poke the ice. And it's probably cold.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to see that it's spreading. I'm not going to make them roll intelligence. They're going to get Lao. Yeah, they're going to get the gardener because hey gardener, there's some temperature fluctuations going on in the garden. Help! They are not equipped to deal with this.
This shit
Um.
ain't normal.
Yes. No. Thank you. So I'm not going to roll them a stealth. I'm going to draw you all a picture of Lao still cuddled up in his blanket in his nest of a bed that is on the floor, which is like a bunch of moss and some sticks and blankets and maybe is that maybe bits of clothing? Is clothing? Is it his clothing? You don't know. Um, I would like you to imagine. Actually, I'm gonna roll him a con. That checks out. Yep, that checks out. Because with a 9, I very much doubt he's gonna be still asleep. When the sound of the rattling beads that make up his doorway, like he's got like one of those bead curtains for his doorway,
Yep.
rattles. Um, well, it doesn't rattle so much as it kind of explodes. Um, and then he feels something very heavy kind of thump onto him, and he just kind of makes that noise and sits up very quickly, grasps of the soul, looks around blearily. His outline is biggly, a little spiky, but then he looks down and so why is you for goodness sake, I'm not I told you we're not playing. We are not playing. I'm asleep. I know you don't sleep very much, but I am asleep. I need I am planting my roots and I am sleeping. And I'm gonna roll him a perception. Now that he's awake. Gosh, well, that's slightly better than a nat one. That's a 7.
Yeah,
Um,
nah, it's probably not close enough to Lau's room yet. Like it's a slow,
mm,
slow spread, but yeah, no, not with a 7. Not with a 7. Sorry,
it's
mate.
probably more like it feels like there's a draft. I'd
Yeah.
imagine like he thinks the window's been left open, and
Yeah.
his whole face kind of scrunches up. And Saul, did you leave the balcony open? Please don't tell me you broke the front room. And he just slides a hand down his face, and he sort of shoves at Sol, who does move, um, but wraps their roots around him and kind of lifts him up bodily, um, and now kind of slaps at the roots. No, Sol, no, put it down. Sol, don't you dare! No, 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 no. And Sol just kind of very slowly lifts them up with one of their roots, swaddles them in their roots. So like he's basically caged now in like a blanket of wrapped around roots. Um, he's getting increasingly loud and yelling as Sol walks through the apartment. Um, hmm. Question: does it look like they can get out of the front door? Like, is it completely iced over?
No, it's not iced over. So, excuse me. The the floor is covered in frost and like small stalagmites of ice, probably spreading quite well through the moss carpet. And it's frosted up the sides of like the door jamb, but it hasn't like formed big ice crystals to block the door or anything.
Okay, cool. Uh, in which case, there is going to be a loud bang as this door is flung outwards and slams into the side of the doorway, which I imagine releases some very nice, pretty snowflakes.
Oh yes.
Um, and anyone, I think anyone above and below this floor will just hear yelling and screeching of "Don't put me down! It's the middle of the bloody night!" Um, as Sol makes their way um, towards where it gets colder. Because hmm,
Yeah,
this is a gardener problem.
it is. Yeah, so if Sol's kicking in the front door into the hallway, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's something that Lau would not need to roll perception on at this point. Even if he missed the ice on the jam and on the floor as Sol was dragging him through the apartment, once you're in the hallway, it's a lot more obvious because it is covering the carpet and the walls and the ceiling. The external windows are all frosted over, and it is spreading down the hallway towards the stairs in the lift, coming from Chifley's front door.
Ah, well, I think the minute Lau kind of takes another inhale to begin his yelling and actually notices what's happening, he stops and he just sort of drags in his root cradle that he is locked into and um, looks up at Sol. All right, okay, fine. Just don't don't charge in. Be gentle. And I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna roll for soul. Oh, okay, that's fine. Um, and Soul looks down, and they nod their head, and they make their way towards Chipley's door. And is Chipley's door iced over?
It's more iced over than Lau's door was because it's been exposed to this stuff a lot longer. But like
Ooh.
someone of Sol's strength could probably turn the handle and give it a good solid and like it'll come like the ice will come off. It's not impassably so, but you need to have a little bit of oomph to get through it.
I feel like I feel like Soul is gonna look down at the handle and then look at the door, and then stand wobbly on their hind legs and reel their head back and reel their neck back, and the Lau's gonna yell, "No, Soul, use the door!" And the jiggle stop. Themselves slowly back on 3 feet, lift up one of their other feet, and slowly turn the knob instead of bashing their head into the door.
Oh,
And
Sol.
yeah, listen, the easiest way through is through.
Yeah.
Um, but yes, they shove the door open, and would you like me to roll anything?
Yeah, go ahead and roll another perception, and then I'll paint you a word picture.
Perception. Eh, Oh hell yeah! That's a nat 20.
Oh, beautiful.
So
He's very awake
I
now.
don't know. Yes, Lao is alert to signs of distress.
So he's well familiar with what the inside of Chif's apartment looks like. It's still relatively sparsely furnished because Chif doesn't really spend money on himself, so like and he spends a lot of time on Lau's side anyway, so like he didn't bring the couch over, he brought bookcases, he has a bed, all that sort of stuff, but like he doesn't have a whole lot in his own house. Um but he does have so like he's got his own kitchen. In the main room it actually looks more like a kotatsu table, and there's a little low side table that's got some photographs and a few things on it over by the side, and on the direct opposite side of the apartment to Chifley's bedroom, there's a little like a bedside table sort of thing that has a now very very frozen and frostbitten flowering plant with red flowers on it, which Lau will recognize. Um, but everything in here is covered in ice and frost. Like there is nothing that's gone untouched. The entire thing is covered in. So in some places it's thin, in some places it's quite thick. But over by the bedroom door, Lau can actually see big ice crystals growing out of the floor. Those stalagmites that were starting to form in the moss carpet on his side, some of them are quite big here, like would easily come up to his knees if he were standing up.
Oh, okay. Hmm. Lao is having a think. Lao is having a think. I'm also having a think because he can't use his outside chair in here, um, because it's just not going to be maneuverable. His inside chair does not deal with this environment well at all. But he also, man, okay, well, okay, he's going to do that. Okay, cool. Um, he's gonna he's gonna tap on. Oh, he's gonna wiggle in the room because he is still basically restrained. Um, so would you put me down? And Soul looks down at him and pops their head. Yes, no, I won't ask you to go away. Just, I may need your assistance getting. And he looks at Chifley's very iced over door. Soul looks up, looks down, and nods. And Lao is very carefully set upright on the floor. He's not standing, like his lower half is still mostly supported by Falzaroon, but his upper half is free enough that he can reach into his hammer space, which I need my D10. Where's my D10? Now is not the time to pull out that one object. Please don't. Please don't. And he doesn't. That's a 2. Um, he reaches he reaches a little shakily into the blanket that got dragged along with him because I can't imagine he didn't bring a few blankets, which actually they probably have some like twigs and stuff that are starting to freeze over on him. So he basically reaches in and he pulls out a long, twisted staff of black wood, and he sort of shoves it into the floor and screws it in and nods, leans one hand against Sol, and Right. Um, just let's take it slowly, like like before. Remember before. And Sol nods and slowly withdraws their root. And Lao is now upright, leaning against Sol, and his staff for support. And he makes his way towards the door.
Great. The bedroom door is distinctly a lot harder to open than the front door. So I am going to get you to roll something for that one.
That's fair enough. Hmm. Hmm. I don't imagine it has a lock on it, so
Nah.
this is probably going to be just a pure strength thing.
Hmm.
Or does Lau have anything? I wonder. No, he's going to have Soul shove it open. He's going to have Soul shove it open because he knows he's not a very strong man, and he doesn't want to cast a spell that could potentially explode the fucking door.
Hmm.
um, yeah, he's just going to ask Soul to shove at it, and Soul uh pushes their shoulder against it with a 17.
Oh yeah. Um it does resist for a bit. But I think like as Sol's pushing against it, you can
Mm-hmm.
Lau can see the ice is shifting and breaking off of it. But it doesn't move. Unless you turn the handle in order to disengage the other bit.
I feel like Laos was sort of standing like he's leaning against the wall or something like a stalactite, or Sol is shoving at this, and he's wondering why the hell isn't this opening? Why can't Sol get? Oh wait, yes, right. I did just say about the handle, didn't I? And he slowly leans over and just sort of waits for Sol to stop and just gently clicks the handle down. Um, hmm. Hey, I have a question.
Shoot.
Is the handle made of metal?
Yes.
I roll something because hey, that's like ice on metal.
Uh huh.
Very cold ice on metal that Lau has touched unprotected.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Did I roll something?
You could
Did I
if you
roll for
wanted.
frost damage?
Uh
Sure.
yeah, sure, roll a con. Why not?
Oh, a con, okay. Oh boy, your favorite stat, Lau. That's a two. He's doing so well today.
Oh dear, yeah. Uh
I guess it.
Oh, yeah.
Oof.
4 points of
Oh.
fuck that's cold damage.
Ah. Oh, I feel like as the door opens and he's touching it, like a whole body kind of shiver goes across his outline, and very briefly his outline kind of goes like a sparkling blue that fades to white and silver before it goes back to grey.
Oh, that's cool.
Um, and as the door opens, kind of has to like, I'm gonna roll a strength check actually because like, oh my God, Lau, that's another two. He tries to pull his hand away from the door handle, and hey, do you know what happens when you touch like a really cold piece of metal with something relatively warm? He tries to pull his hand away, and his hand isn't coming away. He's he's got one hand on his staff, one hand on the door. Sol is looking down at his hand that is stuck on the goddamn handle, and God, he's God, I don't know what he's even gonna do. No, I know what he's gonna do. He's gonna start quietly swearing. He's trying to pull his fucking hand away.
Oh dear, oh dear. All right, I'll get you to roll another perception. Feel free to do it at dis if you want.
Yeah, I will. I will. He is occupado. Damn. He got a 19 and then a 6. So he got a 10 in total.
Okay,
Yeah,
ten's
he's
fine.
busy trying to yank his hand away.
I think it's probably one of those delayed reactions with a 10. Um
Mm.
so like he can't get his hand off of the door handle, and he's like, the door is now open. So he's sort of standing in the open doorway
Mhm.
of Chifley's bedroom. And he curse, sort of glances up, curse, and then does a little bit of a double take perhaps. Because now he's in Chifley's bedroom. And he's seen Chif's bedroom before. Chif doesn't usually leave the door closed when he's not sleeping. It's got a bed, it's got a bookcase, it's got a desk. But in here, if he thought the lounge room was badly frosted over and iced over, in here is a lot worse. There are large stalactites and stalagmites of ice everywhere. Like, it's apparent that even though the door didn't open until he turned the handle, Sol shoving it with that 17 was wholly necessary, because there was so much big chunks of ice in front of and clinging to the door. It wouldn't have been able to open otherwise. And it's freezing. There is a flurry of snow in the air. And he can't actually, with a 10, can't actually see Chifley anywhere.
Oh boy. Uh-oh. Hmm. He stops yanking at the door and he looks up at Sol. His outline is slightly wibbly, and his eyes are a little wide. Sol, Sol, I need you to be very quiet and very quick. I need you to search, right? Search. And he sort of gestures in the room and then looks at Sol, and he is hoping to hell that Sol actually understands what he wants them to do. Um, Sol looks down, slowly looks in the room. Can I roll a Persepi for Sol?
You may.
I think Sol's getting all the rolls because that is a dirty 20.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so Sol is picking through this bedroom, through the. It's actually a bit awkward to get through the ice without breaking any of it. Whether or not Sol cares is up to you. Because these big pieces of ice are large, and so is Sol. So there's only so much room in here. But with a dirty 20, Sol does find Chifley, but Chifley's kind of surrounded by some of these big ice shards. Some of them have actually pierced through his mattress. He is on his bed, however.
Hmm. Sol looks back at Lau, uh, and they point, and Lau just kind of, okay, so he's still here at least. Is is he all right? Sol, is he injured? Is he harmed in any way? And this is where Sol gets to roll something they don't do, which is a medicine check. I should have really brought up Sol's sheet. I was not expecting Sol. So, well, that's a 9. What
Uh,
can Sol see from a medicine?
well, uh, Sol cannot see any blood, or ink, or bruising. So,
Go
meh. Apart from that, I mean,
on,
Chifley
looks to
is
Lau.
like partially ice, and his hair is all white. But I don't know how Sol could communicate that, or whether or not he thinks that's a problem. Whether or not they think that's a problem.
Is Sol is Sol breathing? No, sorry. Is Chifley breathing?
Chifley is breathing very, very quickly.
Oh, okay.
In
Sol
fact,
looks
doing
down at
those
Chifley. Hmm?
puffs of frost when it's really cold out, he's doing those.
Ah, mm. Sol looks down at Chifley, looks at Lau, looks back down at Chifley, looks at Lau, and their wings just do a little shrug. And it's like, right, could you? And they gesture at their hand, at his hand, still stuck on the door, still wrenching. His line out is starting to wiggle again, and Sol wanders over. He doesn't. Sol does not care the the mounds of ice. Sol walks through them. Sol gives no damn. Just kind of knocks them over as they go. Um, and Sol reaches over and pauses and looks back at Lau, and Lau's expression, Lau's line art smooths and softens just a little bit. Oh, it's Sol. I'm giving you permission. It's all right. Go ahead. And he gestures again with his head and his hand. And Sol wraps their roots around Lau's wrist and starts to kind of tighten them, kind of like a winch, and tighten them and tighten them. You see the line art of Lau's line art just kind of come together, come together, come together, and then the two lines that made up his wrist, or where his hand attaches to his arm, disconnect. And
Oh, Jesus!
the the his hand that was on the door kind of slowly falls to ashes to the floor, and there is now nothing on the end of Lau's hand because Lau doesn't have a hand. He has an arm, and then it just ends in two lines, just kind of hanging there. Well, I
Oh
say
my
hanging, they're
god.
kind of wispy. Um, and Lau nods. Yes, that's it's okay. I know, Sol. I know. Thank you. Yes, you did well. You did well. It's all right. Now, I need you. I need you. And he leans against the staff. I need you to make sure that the door stays open, right? And that everywhere we have it, we have somewhere to go. Okay, we need places to move, all right? And he kind of looks around. I need you to make sure we can move, all right? And Sol looks back at Chifley, looks back at Lau, then just steps aside so Lau can come in. I am gonna have to roll him. Actually, I haven't rolled him a deck save yet. Um, he's gonna lean against Sol and make his way over to Chifley, and then slowly lower himself down next to Chifley. Upon which he lets go of he stops leaning against Sol. And then Sol turns around and heads towards the door, um, and exits.
Mm-hmm.
But you can hear the sound of like crunching noises and scraping, and presumably Sol doing something out there with the ice.
Yeah. We'll come back later and he's made a snowman. They've made a snowman. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, Lau is now near Chifley.
That he is.
I'm not going to make him roll perception for this. So, yeah, once he got over to where Chif's bed was, it's easy to see that like all of the ice did block Chifley from Lau's view before. But Chifley almost still seems to be sleeping. His eyes are closed. His hair is completely white and parts of his body have gone crystalline. But it's not like when he was angry. Like Lau remembers when they had to go into the bog of bewilderment to save Missy and her friends, how he was pissed, and that manifested in big shards of ice coming from different parts of his body, like one whole foot, and he had like a big clawed gauntlet of ice on one hand. This isn't like that. It's more like his body is turning to ice rather than it bursting out of him. And the other thing that is quite apparent, because it's quite dark in here, because like Chifley was asleep, the lights aren't turned on, but Chifley seems to be tangled in his bed sheet, and the big shards of ice coming through his mattress and coming from around him don't seem to be helping, actually, because he's like pierced a few parts of the sheet, and if he'll roll one side and it tugs and he's tightened, like it tightens around him a bit. And Lau can also see a very faint glow coming from Chifley's back, from through his sleep
Oh.
shirt.
Hate that. Oh, there are many thoughts running through Lao's fucking mind right now. Um,
And yeah, Chiff is
there
tossing and
are.
turning a bit, but every time he tosses in one direction and he like has that resistance of those pinned down bed sheets, it gets slightly colder and there's more ice, and so it just keeps getting building and building and building. The more he tosses and turns.
Okay, there are a few things Lau could possibly do. I know what he initially wants to do, but he has enough sense not to do it immediately. Um, what he is gonna do? Um, I don't think any of his magic is gonna help here. Hmm. Oh, I know what he's gonna do. Um, he's just gonna fucking sigh and lean against his staff because he has a feeling he knows exactly what's going on. Well, he doesn't, but he thinks he does. And um, I guess this is where I'm gonna ask Chifley to roll a perception.
Sure. What is your percepi, sir? Not terrible. Let's see what Avray has to say about that.
Gosh, it's been 30 minutes of trying to get to this man.
That is a 9.
Um, hmm. Well, I don't know what sort of experience Chifley is having at the minute, but I don't think a nine's gonna cut it actually. I'm gonna roll Lao performance. Um, what is your performance, my son? It's not very good, I know that. Oh shit, okay. Yeah. Um, with a nine, I can only imagine that in Chifley's state, he's he might hear something, but he doesn't know what it is.
Mm.
So I'm gonna roll something again. I'm gonna give him advantage. Oh, for goodness sake, young man. Um, okay. And I was gonna lean back because the thing he did didn't work, and I'm not telling you what he did. I will save that for later.
Ha ha ha.
So now I'm gonna do the thing. I'm gonna do the thing he fucking shouldn't do, but he doesn't know what else to do because he doesn't know how to wake Chifley up because he is assuming this is a nightmare. He can't touch the thing on his back. He can't touch Chifley because it's fucking cold, and he has one hand left, and he doesn't want to lose his other one just in case. So there's only one thing he can really do, and um, he just, Chifley, I am sorry for this. I'm very sorry. And he's gonna use one of his channel divinities to cast Read Thoughts.
Ooh! Ooh!
Uh,
Okay.
as an as an action, choose one creature you can see within 10 feet of you. The creature must make a Wisdom saving throw. If the creature succeeds, it can. If the creature succeeds, this fails. But if the creature fails, you can read its surface thoughts, um, which is things foremost in its mind, its current emotions, what it's actively thinking about, and that lasts for a minute.
Okay. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to say that Chiff fails that whiz save, partially because he's asleep, and
Mhm.
having a time. So, yeah, he's not really going to be in a condition to be doing proper saves in that regard. Also, he has a +8, and that's, like, in this circumstance, not fun. So, we're just going to say
Yeah.
he fails that. All right,
Yes.
surface thoughts. Okay. Uh, I have a question for Lau. How many times
Uh-huh.
has he cast this spell on people? Like, is he kind of
On
got an
people.
idea? Well, yeah.
Um, a handful of times.
Mm-hmm.
Not many. Because he has his reasons, but yeah, no, he's not cast it a lot. In games, he's cast it like once or twice. Outside, a handful of times.
Okay. So Lau may or may not, I'll let you decide, recognize the very
Hmm.
first thing that he kind of picks up as he casts Detect Thoughts on Chifley, is this is probably a panic attack. Um, more than
Oh.
more than a nightmare as such. Like, I mean, yeah, it's got some nightmare elements in it, but you get from Chifley this it's panic. It's unrestrained, which is a poor choice of words in this case. Panic. You can feel the surface thoughts are kind of like being bound, like really thick rope tied around the body, can't move, and a searing pain. But apart from that, it's all panic. There's nothing logical or sensible about anything going on in Chip's brain at the moment. There is, I'm tied down and losing my shit.
Okay. Oh, mate. Also, don't mind me. I'm just trying to find. Trying to see if I can. No. Okay, that's not what I was looking for. Never mind. Um. Oh, okay. So it's a panic attack. Ooh. Are there any actual thoughts, like in terms of specific lines of dialogue, or is it just emotion?
There's certainly a lot of emotion. You probably get flashes of. It's probably more memory than thoughts, I guess, at this point, because he is asleep as well. So you've got a panic attack while he's in REM.
Oh,
So it's a whole kettle of fish here. But yeah, you get snippets of something along the lines of, it's mumble mumble will be mine, mumble 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 won't get in my way, and you just feel like there's this maybe screaming, but it doesn't feel like the voice that you know Chifley to use.
hmm. Cool. Okay. Hmm. All right. So another fun thing about the read thoughts channel divinity
Uh-huh.
is that I can cast the suggestion spell uh whenever I want to end this read thoughts. And Lao is he's not going to lean too close, but he's going to lean in close enough. I'd say like yeah, he's going to lean in close enough to say, Disney, Disney, I suggest that you wake up. Um, yeah,
Okay.
suggestion made.
All right. All right. All right. Sure. Like, likewise, he's not in the state to sort of resist anything like that. So, Lau, you see Chif's eyes snap open, and normally he has black eyes, but they're kind of white at the minute. And his eyes snap open, and he lurches into a sitting position, but then immediately flops back down because, like I was saying before, he's sort of tangled in his bed sheet, and then it's pinned in places because of the ice that he made while he was in his panic attack state. So he lurches up, but then flops back down, and now he's awake and panicking, and it
Ooh.
drops by another couple of degrees temperature-wise in the room. And like, he is hyperventilating.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Okay. Lau is leaning over, making sure he is within eye line of Chifley. Chifley, Chifley, you're awake now. You're awake, and I need you to. I he looks he looks at the ice and he looks at the breathing and he's just I I need you to hold on to this. And he leans his staff like not in his face, but like over Chifley's lap. I need you to hold on to this for me. You do that.
Chifley is sort of blinking, and like he'll sort of reach and he'll grab whatever he's been handed, and he is like white knuckling onto this thing, like he's holding it so tightly,
Mhm.
but he's still kind of freaking out a bit.
Okay. That's yes, good. That's good. Right. Yes, yes. Now I need you to squeeze that as hard as you can for me, all right? Just keep squeezing on it. That's all you need to think about at the moment. Just squeeze it.
I'm gonna roll him a strength just for shits and giggles.
Mm-hmm.
13 is actually not bad. He is squeezing it as hard as his tiny little twink arms can manage.
Oh, it's probably like some cracking noises, like crackling noises coming from it.
Yeah.
Lau just nods says, yes, yes, that's Chifley, that's good. Now I need a few things from you, if you can. I need you to tell me something. Tell me something that you can see, Chifley.
Um, there's a moment, and Chif's looking around, like you can see that he's desperately looking for something to tell Lau, and then he turns back at Lau and he opens his mouth and then he closes it again, and you can kind of see he slumps us for a second and then tenses and he shakes his head and he doesn't say anything.
I'm gonna roll intelligence.
Uh-huh.
Lau's a smart boy, but is he this smart? It is 3 a.m. and he is also a bit panicked.
Yeah.
Um, what's your intelligence modifier? What the fuck is your intelligence? It's not shit. I know it's not shit. You're a smart boy sometimes when you want to be. Come on, please load. Oh, my phone is being a jerk. Okay, that is a 14. Um, would you say that's enough for him to remember what the on on Chifley does and what it can do sometimes?
Has that happened in front of Lau before? I don't recall.
I don't. I feel like they talked about it, didn't they?
I don't remember. But they've been living together for a few months, so surely Lau has seen Chif's notebook. So,
I don't. Hmm. Oh yeah, no. Like Chifley has periods of no talking with
mm.
Lau, I
Yes, no, he
imagine.
would have. He would
So
have.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay,
definitely.
yeah, no. So yeah, with a 14, he can probably tell that no, his voice is balked. He doesn't have anything. He can't speak at the moment.
Okay. Hmm. Lau looks down at the staff in Chifley's hand and looks at Chifley's mouth and then right, okay, that's fine then. Um, and he leans over the staff, which is sort of half on Chifley's lap. So now he's sort of half on ice and on Chifley's lap. Um, and he holds out. He's careful not to lean his weight over Chifley, like he's leaning on one of the errant icicles sticking out from somewhere. And he holds his hand out, palm up. If you can't say it, if you want, you can write it. Yeah. And he gestures at his hand.
Um, I think Chif will look at Lau's hand, and he'll look down at the staff, and then he just sort of shakes his head and he's going to try and sit up again, but again he can't get up. And like he just when he starts to be calming down, he flops back onto his back, and Lau can see him wince and then try and sit up again.
Right, okay, hang on. Just a moment. Right, okay. And Lau is gonna he's gonna maneuver himself so he is sitting next to Chifley, and he's gonna slip his handless arm around Chifley's waist, carefully not touching his back, and pull him against him.
Mm-hmm.
That's don't just just keep just keep breathing. That's all you need to focus on at the moment. Just taking a deep breath and squeezing this as hard as you can. If you break it, I will give you um what's the thing? I will I will do something nice for you. If you manage to break this with your bare hands, I will do something very nice for you.
Okay.
Listen, Lau is he's
That
so
is
good
so
at this.
funny. That's better than his roll before. That is a 16. That is almost as good as he can do. Like,
Oh my god, did the power of a little treat is Chifley's strength?
apparently that's what he's doing today. Okay. This is the power of a panic attack, apparently. Um, but no, he's trying. He's focusing real hard on doing that. Um, but one hand actually does come off after a second, and he starts trying to pull at his bed sheet. And I'm going to use that 16. That there's actually quite a bit of tearing as he actually is putting enough force into ripping the bed sheet off of him.
Uh, Lau's outline will kind of tremble a bit at that, a little wriggle. Um, but he is he's gonna very subtly try to cast blessing or bless on Chifley, um, and just nod and say, if you feel you're strong enough to, well, do that, then I suppose free yourself as best as you can. I would help, but unfortunately, I'm not very And um he kind of leans over next to one of the icy bits and taps it. I'm not um I don't think I'm particularly well suited for uh and he stops and he just sighs and leans back against Tiffany.
All right.
If you were I don't know what you expected from this. Now's shit at comfort. This man does not know what he's doing.
Okay, well, I'm going to use that bless and add that to that last strength roll, which makes it an 18. So he pulls he's ripping the sheet off of him, and then he does manage to actually properly sit up, and then he just sort of hunches over a bit and leans into Lau ever so slightly, and his eyes are open and wild, but he is starting to calm down. Like that absolute rapid hyperventilating breathing is starting to slow now that he's actually sitting up. And he just takes this really, really deep breath and sighs it out. And the ice that was spreading sort of starts to stop spreading. It just sort of settles. You know, like after that moment after it stops snowing.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the moment that you've got.
I'm gonna roll something for Lau.
Uh-huh.
Oh, he would. Oh, I love him. I fucking love him. Oh, I'm gonna make a note of this for later. Where is this? Where's my pen? Where the fuck is my pen? There it is. Sorry, I need to make notes so I don't forget to mention them later because this is funny. Cool. Okay. Uh, yeah, no. Lau is just he opens his mouth and then closes his mouth and opens it again, and then he just decides, just very gently, like rub Chifley's side and not say anything, and just breathe next to Chifley and let him do his thing.
I think it'll take a little while. Let me roll him a Whis save, but I'll do it at dis.
I
Uh,
will roll a con save for Lau because he has been sitting in ice.
yeah. Fair enough. That's a 14. It's not too bad. It does take him, 5-10 minutes or so to actually properly calm down. And then I'm gonna roll him hammer space. That is a 9. Yeah. So he sort of reaches just sort of next to the bed, and then just pulls out his little notebook set, and he just writes. Like his hand is really, really shaky, and normally Chifley can write really, really fast and really, really clearly, but it's slow and it's shaky. But he just writes "thank you" on the top of a new page.
Um, Lau's outline kind of wriggles and he frowns. I I'm not sure you should be saying thank you, considering, well, I mean, there's no reason for you to say thank you, truthfully. That's you you were you were clearly not having a very pleasant, um, restful night. No reason to say thank you for that. And
Chifley
he
gives him a little bit
waves
of a
his,
look.
well, I mean, okay, fine. I suppose yes. Okay, fine. The proper response is you're welcome. But the I, I I I just want, I'm not going to ask if you're all right because you're clearly not. But is there anything that I can do right now that you think might help?
Chifley sort of looks around, and he just sort of winces a little bit at the state of his room, and then he pulls his face like he's thinking. It's like kind of vibe. And then he just writes in his notebook, not sure, but he's still sort of
Mm.
looking around going, oh gosh. um and then he looks at Lau, and then looks around, and then looks at Lau and said, you look cold.
Uh, oh boy, let's go. Oh, okay. Oh boy, let's go. Um, Now there's a little shrug. Well, I mean, I'm rather used to the cold by now. I'm not really that cold. I've I've had worse.
Chifley does smile a little bit at that. And he's gonna try and sort of stand up a bit. Um, and Lau, do you want to roll me a perception?
Yeah, I will also roll a strength, and I would like you to roll me a strength. Uh, as well. So perception is a 23. What's your strength now? Now strength is a 3.
Chifley's is a 1 though.
I love having two absolute frail boys.
Oh, bless. Oh, dear. All right. Well, with a 23, okay. So as Chifley goes to get up, it's actually really not as graceful as the way that Chifley normally moves. Like, he is still quite stiff. He is still quite iced up. But, Lau, you can see that mark on his back is still actually glowing quite a bit. It's not something that you normally see when Chif's out and about or awake or whatever, but for some reason it's glowing quite a bit right now.
Hmm. Cool. Cool. Okay. Chifley, I don't think moving at the minute is the best idea. Um, I think maybe just a few minutes, at least sitting upright before any moving about. Does that seem reasonable to you?
Sorry, I didn't catch that last sentence.
Oh, he said a few more minutes sitting down before any moving about, if that seems reasonable to you.
Ah, yep, sure. Um, yeah, so Chifley will sort of hesitate, but then he'll sit back down and he kind of pulls his legs under him to try and get more comfortable and then tries to flick off some of the ice, and then he's poking at one of the big shards of ice that actually speared through his mattress. And you can just see this expression on Chif's face that goes, ugh. Like it's a oh dear, oh fuck kind of expression as he's just sort of poking at this shredded mattress at the edge here.
Um, Now seeing this, kind of, if you really feel like at least shoving some of the ice around, he holds out the staff. At least use this. Um, and whilst he hands it over, he's gonna wait for Chipley to take it. If he does,
Oh, Chifley will take it, yeah.
okay. Could Chipley roll me a perception?
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Uh,
17.
hmm. Uh, I don't think that's gonna do it. No. Okay. Yeah. No. You take the staff, and you've never actually held it before, but it feels like a little bit spongy and a little weird. Like it feels like wood, but slightly soft wood. But not in like a way where it's like the outer bark has started to get a little weaker, and it feels more like mushroomy almost. It's weird.
I
It feels
actually
weird.
I actually can picture this texture. Um in the medieval club that I'm in, we use rattan bamboo as our swords, and after they've been used for a
Ooh.
while and come under lots of impact, but they're held together with fiber tape, aren't they? So then they get this kind of weird, soft feeling to them. I think
Mm.
that's what I'm picturing.
Hmm. That in it too. Yeah, yeah, something like that.
Mm. So I think Chifley will
It's like
probably
very slightly pliable.
yeah, yeah, that's exactly it.
Mm.
I think Chif will he'll take it, and like Lau can kind of see him sort of prodding at it as like, I think this is the thing. I think Chif has seen this stuff before. I think this is it showed up in my hammer space one day and I like it, so I'm keeping it. That Lau has mentioned. Uh
Uh-huh.
so yeah, Chif has already gone, I don't know if you should trust things that just show up in your hammer space, but okay. But he is now just sort of going, what the hell is this texture? And he's just sort of poking it.
Um, um, cool. While Chifley is doing that, Lau reaches underneath his fucked up blanket, um, pulls out another blanket, which is let me roll on my D20. What blanket have you pulled out today? Um, okay. He pulls out like an old looking, like it's very faded. It used to be like white with red checkers, like a picnic blanket kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it looks like it's been through the tumble dryer one too many times. It's slightly linty. Um,
Yeah.
but he pulls it out and he like very slowly uh wraps it around the front of Ghibli. Um, um, I didn't give you that so you could just poke at it. It's you're supposed to use it to poke at things. And he gestures around the room. I gave it to you for poking, but you're not supposed to poke that. You're not poking it, right?
Oh dear. Chifley. Chif. That's an 11. Okay. Chif is going to look at Lau, and Lau, you could just see the thought processes happening in Chifley's head. Like, he's an anime toon, so he may have wholeheartedly done that like thing where they like the background has just turned to a solid white color and you can see the dot appearing across the screen as you could just see him absorbing this instruction. And then he's gonna bring it around and start poking Lau with it.
Um, you're gonna get a squawk, and um, you're gonna get two flailing limbs and a spluttering loud. Okay, excuse me, that is not. You know damn well that's not what I meant. But you do see with the perception, you see that his outline has softened a bit. It's slightly fluffier, although it it seems to have gained like a weird kind of audio wavelength instead of its like smooth straight line.
Uh-huh.
Um, with a 17, you'd also see that he is missing a hand.
Yeah.
As you are poking him.
Okay, I am going to let's see whether or not I'm going to still do it at this. Whether or not you can speak yet. No, that's not high enough. Um, Chif is going to stop. He is smiling when Lau starts giving him a hard time, but then he'll sort of stop and he'll just put it down next to him and he'll try and reach out to grab, or at least he's gesturing towards the arm of Lau's that doesn't have a hand on it anymore.
Lau's gonna blink, a little confused, then look at his hand and then well, his lack of hand and like chipping it. Uh, um, oh, don't worry about that. And he just waves a hand. It's fine. It happens. I'm actually almost certain this isn't the first time you've seen part of my body be erased. It's fine.
Chif is frowning. He is frowning so much. You're welcome to roll an insight if you like.
Um, I think he will. Yeah, I think he will. I'm lucky his modifier is so good. I'm so lucky his modifier is so good.
16. Okay.
Yeah.
The primary emotion behind that frown is how the fuck did you lose a hand between bedtime and now? And then there's a bit of fear that comes in there is like, oh holy shit, is that my fault?
Ah. Lau, seeing that bit of fear, he's gonna do his damnedest to well, Is Chifley gonna roll insight?
Sure.
Because Lau is gonna he's gonna roll his Lau's gonna roll his eyes and listen, it's nothing to do with you. I was just being stupid and I was just being stupid and well, this happened. And with the 21, you can probably tell he thought it was stupid, but he's definitely lying about it not having anything to do with you.
Mm-hmm. Chip's gonna sort of swing his legs off to the side so he can scooch closer to Lau, and yeah, no, you don't have to roll again. He doesn't believe you. He's trying to have a look at it, and actually, I'm going to make him roll into his hammer space because I think Chif probably keeps charcoal in there now. That's Nate.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he's going to reach in, like, just, he's got these little like dark blue shorts on. He's going to just reach into one of those and pull out some charcoal, and he's holding it out, and he makes a gesture with his hand, like, give.
Oh man, I'm gonna give this to you with that 21 on the inside. You see Lau, as you pull out the charcoal, you see Lau's eyes widen and his line art wibble a bit, and then it smears. In it smears in the way that you know is kind of like sadness, you think, or at least something associated with those sort of emotions. He looks at it and then looks at you and Chifley, that's very kind of you to offer, but I think you know that's not going to work.
He kind of, he's pouting. He is pouting a bit. But then he's going to hold the charcoal out as if trying to give it to Lau.
No, no. And he reaches out with his bare hand and closes it very gently over, closes Chifley's hand very gently. It's it's not it's not because I'm doing it or you're doing it. It's not it's just not something that uh, it's not the right kind of material, I'm afraid. It's it's not, and he stops and cocks his head. It's going to sound silly, but it's not real enough work.
Chifley's going to sort of look at it. And yeah, it's toon charcoal. And he'll just sort of slump a little bit and shove it back in his pocket. And then sigh. And I'm going to roll him another one of these, see if we got his voice back. Come on, Chif. Hey! There we go. Okay. He's going to give a little bit of a cough. And like he's kind of slumped over, but there is a very soft sorry that Lau can hear.
Now squeezes his hand. There's no need to apologize for anything. I appreciate you trying to help, but I'm not worried about me. And he kind of looks around and then back at Chifley. I think between the two of us at the minute, you are most definitely the priority here.
Chif sort of looks around and he sighs again, and it's not normally this bad.
No, I expect if it were, I would probably have known about it sooner.
Chif's just sort of looking a little bit awkward now.
That's oh shit. Lau pulls his hand back and starts to pick at his blanket. Actually, he's picking at the ice that's still tangled in the twigs and shit that got carried with him with the blanket. Um, I I didn't I didn't mean that in any sort of derogatory way. I just meant that usually I I can only presume that was some form of nightmare, and that nightmares tend, well, they fluctuate, in my experience. Sometimes they're mild and sometimes they're not, and sometimes they're nothing. And sometimes they're normal.
Yeah. You know,
And
some some just I've had nightmares where I've woken up because they've been terrifying, but others this one I guess I couldn't wake up from this one.
those nightmares are those nightmares are they can be the hardest to live with, I find. The ones that are hardest to wake up from.
Yeah. Bad enough to live through it once, let alone more than once.
You would think that after experiencing something terrible that the brain would want to forget about it instead of bringing it up again and again and again. I don't I don't understand the logic of the mind that way. Why would it bring up something that does not benefit the individual experiencing it?
Who's to
It's
say?
not very helpful.
No, it's not. But at the same time, I get constant reminders of this one, so I don't think I can ever forget.
Sometimes they can be like that.
Yeah.
Um, Chifley is going to feel an arm or something slowly go around his waist again, um, very, very lightly, very gently. Um, I, I don't. There are lots of things I want to say, like I wish we wouldn't have them, but that's useless because that's not going to stop anything. And I, I can't. If I, if I could take them, if I could take your dreams from you, not not all of them, just the bad ones, the ones like this. If I could take them, if I could, if I could do them instead, I would. But I can't. It pisses me off.
You wouldn't want them anyway, Lau. They're not. I wouldn't want anyone put through that, least of all you.
Well, that's very sweet of you to say. Unfortunately, um, if I had the choice, I would still do it because I do not enjoy people that I consider um, in good form, good repute. I do not appreciate people being emotionally disturbed. And I'm already rather emotionally disturbed, so it won't make that much difference to me.
You say that, but no, 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 no. I could not. I
What?
could not have you experience what I went through as a kid, Lau. Not even superficially. It nearly
Mm,
broke me.
well, if it nearly broke you, it won't do much for me, because I was all. You are not the only one that has experienced a very bad and unfortunate childhood. Um, let's say that I know a thing or two about being broken. Um, so I don't. You're very strong for having not been broken by whatever happened to you.
No, lucky, not strong.
No, no. No. Luck's got fuck all to do with it. If anyone tells you that you're lucky, they're a fucker. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. It is not luck that pulls you through this sort of thing, Chifley.
It was. No, it was luck. Luck that I didn't bleed out before they came.
Hmm. Okay. Let's do that again. Uh, Lau, who is kind of gently rubbing his side, pauses. So it was something like that. Then,
Do you want to roll me a history for Lau?
yeah. God, what the fuck is your history modifier? I think it's pretty high.
It is. He's a nerd. I don't remember what the number was, but I remember it was stupid.
Um, oh, Jesus, criminy. I mean, it's stupid high. It's a +9, but he rolled so goddamn low. He rolled a 4.
Okay. 13, that's not too bad. Uh, would that be enough? Yeah, probably. Um, Lau may remember in Cabedont, where I mean, admittedly, there was a lot going on there, but there was a moment in that FPS where Lau was checking Chifley over for injuries and noticed a scar on Chif's throat.
Hmm. I'm gonna roll an intelligence. Can now put two and two together. Well, I don't think he would have. Hmm. Okay, no, I know what he would assume first. He's just gonna kind of. Chifley is gonna feel the the arm around his waist tighten, for it loosens very slowly, and he's gonna feel now take a couple of deep breaths. I still think it is more than luck that means we survive unfortunate events, more than circumstance or. 'Cause silly chance. yes, sometimes things just happen, but when it comes to things that happen to a person, where it can change them for better or the worse, I think it's more so a test of character as to whether it breaks you or not. It's not a matter of luck that you survived, Chifley. It's a matter of character that you managed to pull through it all.
Chifley does actually snort at that.
Lau pulls his head away a little bit. He was mildly offended. What? What's so? No, hang on. Why the snort? Why would you snort at that?
He shakes his head a little bit and then just goes, I have the kind of character that if I hadn't been saved the way I was, I'd be dead on the grass a long time ago.
What was that last part?
I'd be dead on the grass a long time ago.
Jesus. Okay, give me a sec. Okay. Uh, Chifley, that arm around your waist has tightened again and it is not loosened. You can feel its outline do a kind of a jiggle.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, well, um, now is quiet and you know what? Actually, he's not going to say anything. He's just going to sit there. His head is going to be looking at his lap,
Mm-hmm.
and his handless arm is just going to be tight around Chifley's waist.
I think after Chiff said that, he is just going to sigh a little bit and lean in to Lau, just sort of breathing slowly, trying to keep himself calm. His hair hasn't started changing color, but his skin has started to fade back into actual skin rather than ice. And then after a few minutes, he just goes, "You've never told me what happened to you, and I'm not going to ask you to, but you always seem so strong in spite of it."
That's an interesting twist of word you use there, Tiffany. I'm not sure I would call myself strong. Spiteful, certainly. Determined, potentially, but strong. No, I wouldn't say I'm a very strong man at all. As for what I've experienced, well, um, I I don't think it's any more pleasant than what you've gone through.
Suppose not.
Mm.
Left its mark on us both, one way or the other, huh?
uh, 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 Chifley is going to feel Lau's head tuck into his neck. That is certainly one way of putting it. Marks in fucking deed.
Let's just give you a little pause, and then is that as literal for you as it is for me?
Well, hmm. What do you think, Chifley?
Probably. Probably quite literal. But
Would, would Chifley like to roll me a very quick perception?
sure. Uh, that's an 11.
11.
That's not great,
Okay.
Tiff.
No. He probably hears like the cracking of ice around his room as it slowly starts to melt away, and also the sounds of something being shoved around his living room. Um, and he can probably tell what it sounds like when Soul moves around now. So it's not a stranger. That's a large horse in there. It's fine,
Yeah.
probably. Um, but yeah, with an 11, yeah, he hears the cracking, groan sounds of ice around his room slowly coming apart. Um, he'll also, hmm, no, with an 11, he wouldn't. I'm sorry.
Tis what it is.
Yeah.
It's all good. Um, I think Chiff will. He's just sort of still leaning into Lau a bit. Every time this sort of thing comes up, it always stings.
Sorry, what was that last bit?
It stings.
Oh, it's Sting. Hmm. Uh, Chifley can feel Lau's beak kind of go uh, against his collarbone, as in a literal one, metaphorical both.
No, literal.
Mm.
I guess it hasn't healed over. I don't know. I can't see it myself, so.
Mm. Still Lau's head twist. Um, so now his beak is hanging on the back of his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Is it still glowing?
Only just. Like, it's glowing just enough that you can kind of see a fuzzy shape of it through Chiff's shirt, but nothing as bright as when
Mm.
he was asleep.
Mm. Yes, I think I get what you mean. It is it does seem to like to make itself known in incredibly inconvenient ways.
Chiff's gonna kind of blink and lean back from now just a little bit so he can look down at him. What, what do you mean?
Well, let's just say that before before I before you woke up, um, it was a rather mm, it liked to it rather lit up, very bright, what I can only assume is malice and I don't know, fucked up evil bastard magic.
Hmm. Well, I mean, it's
Which
malice. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
I told you, and he tucks his head back into Tiffany's neck. have I told you how much I am looking forward to taking that fucker off of you?
You wouldn't be the first to try.
Sorry, what was that?
You wouldn't be the first to try.
I probably won't be the first to try, but I will be fucking damned if I am not the first to succeed. That is coming off, and I promise you that, one way or another, I am taking that fucking thing off of you.
Uh, you want to roll me a perception?
Mhm. That is a 16.
Splendid. Okay, so Lau's tucked into Chif's neck. Uh,
Mhm.
the way that Chif's breath kind of hitches a little, and he leans into Lau a little bit more. He's absolutely chuffed about that. If you were to look at his face, he would be blushing. He's absolutely
Hmm.
touched.
I should fucking hope so. Um, hmm. Yeah. Now is going to be a little silly and lean further over Chif's shoulder. And he's not going to shout, but he's just going to raise his voice a little. Do you hear me, you evil, hang on. Do you hear me, you evil, fucked up little circle bastard? When I get you off, I'm going to put you in a fucking bottle and I'm going to throw you into the goddamn motherfucking ocean. Better yet, I might even slap you on the fucker that made you.
Chif is starting to shake as he's laughing at that, and he is actually going to actually like push Lau off him a little bit, and there's this expression on Chif's face that it's equal parts like appreciative and amused. That kind of amused that Chif always get when Lau starts going off at something. Even when it's him, he always has that amused look. Boom. But he's also got this, like, you can see it without having to roll an insight. He's got this little bit of, it's not quite fear, but sort of unsurety, and then he just sort of goes, I think maybe if you're wanting to keep that promise, you should tell it directly.
Now blinks, cocks his head, and one of the curls, which is, tell it don't. How much more direct do you want me to fucking get? I mean, I hmm, he blinks and looks down. I mean, I can if you want me to talk to your back. I'm not opposed to shouting at it a little more. If it'll make you feel better, of course.
Well, nothing else has helped so far, so we can give it a try. And he is going to
Mm.
start pulling his shirt up at the back.
Now, as he does that, Lao's just going to say, actually, is there any solid pieces of ice? Could you focus on keeping one piece of ice particularly unmelted?
Chief sort of pauses as he's pulling his shirt up and he's looking around. And like, some of these pieces of ice are large and aren't like, yeah, the frost stuff is starting to melt, like the carpet's all wet, but all the really
Mhm.
big pieces in here, they're still quite solid. But he just sort of looks at the specifically the one that's spearing his mattress. He just goes, yeah, I can do that.
Brilliant. Right. I'm going to roll our strength because he's going to reach down and he's going to find the most reflective piece of ice he can find.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and he's going to try and snap it off. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to roll strength to see how long it takes him. Okay, that's 12. So it takes like probably a couple of shells before it comes off.
Yeah.
Um, and he's gonna look around and point Chifley at like a mirror or another reflective surface.
Mm-hmm.
And his outline has gotten slightly fluffier, with like only the barest hint of spikes, as he turns Chifley to face him and holds up the ice Chifley and then points it at the mirror behind him. You know when you hold two mirrors so you
Mm-hmm.
can see behind you kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing.
Oh, okay.
And he says, I know you said it would be nice if I said it, but I think considering that this is bothering you more so than it is accosting me, I'm sure there are a couple of things that you would like to say.
There's a bit of a blink, blink, and then a frown. I guess so. I could think of a few things.
If you want some suggestions, I do have a few.
You always seem to have such a colourful repertoire on hand.
I will be honest, Chifley, and he leans in a little bit. It would be quite funny to see you say, well, some of the things I'm thinking of.
He smiles a little bit at that. Well, don't get your hopes up too high. And then he's gonna finish pulling his shirt off.
Oh,
Cool.
I think Lau is going to roll an instinctive medicine
Uh-huh.
just to make sure it doesn't look like inflamed or not inflamed, but you know what I mean, irritated.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask you to roll one, so go ahead.
He's doing really shit today. It's a six.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see if I have. Oh, I do have it on hand. Okay. Now this picture is old as shit because I have not updated it. So I will have to update it at some stage.
Slides it into your drawer pile.
Yes, maybe I could do that this afternoon. But this is a very old approximation of the size of this thing. So, actually no, it's too big. I drew it too big. And the perspective is off. And it doesn't have any of the glowing that's supposed to have. This was drawn
I
like
I am
3 years ago.
I'm grabbing your cheeks. I'm shaking you. You can do it another time.
um
Oof.
but yeah, so Lau knew that it was big and it was round. But the mark that is burnt into Chifley's back, it with a 6. Yeah, okay, there's some magical bullshit happening here of absolutely. But with a 6, the only medical sort of thing that you can get is, yeah, no, it actually didn't ever heal. It could be, it could have been put there yesterday, and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. And
Ooh.
there is a moment where Chiff's doing the whole mirror in mirror thing, and then he just immediately drops the thing he was holding. He can't look at it.
Hmm. Yeah, Lau's outline is no longer fluffy. It has gotten noticeably spikier, um, with some slight smudging going on. And um he puts down the piece of ice and moves back towards Chipley's side. And he he holds out one end of the staff for Chipley to hold on to.
Oh yeah, he'll take it and he'll squeeze it again.
Um Lau's gonna use that as a leverage point, and he's
Oh,
gonna.
poor Chif.
Oh, no. This makes sense. But, oh, yeah. Lau's gonna use it as a leverage point, and he's gonna kind of lean back. Um, and he's not gonna get too close to it. Um, but Chifley is going to feel. He is going to practically feel the eyes. Like I don't know what this feel. I don't know what this mark feels like to Chifley. Um, in terms of like pain
Mm-hmm.
or like yeah. Um, but he is going to almost physically feel eyes on his back as Lao says, I don't know what sick fucker hated you. And I don't know what exactly it is that you're doing. All I know is that you are causing someone that I care about a great deal of pain. So when I do eventually take you off, I'm going to give you one last task. Whatever the fuck you're created to do, I am going to return you to sender, and I am never letting you touch anyone else again. You understand that?
Understandably,
And
there
then
is no
he just
response.
okay, but if it talked back, if it did, if we slapped a magic mouth on it, what would it say?
uh, spoilers. Probably.
Fair enough. But yeah, after a couple of seconds, he's just going to nod and slowly lean back to look at Chifley. I think that it and I have come to an understanding.
That does make Chifley smile, and his shoulders sort of drop a little bit, and good. Then, when you succeed, there'll be no surprise on its part.
I should hope not. He does lean into Chifley again. Um, and he doesn't let go of the staff, but he winds his handless arm um around one of Chifley's and just gives it a very tight squeeze. I I probably should have asked before um showing showing you that.
He,
I didn't think about how you might feel seeing it. So I got a little carried away.
he shakes his head a little bit. It's fine. I. It's been over 10 years, and I don't know, maybe I thought it would be better.
Sometimes time doesn't heal wounds like that. Sometimes it's easier to just put a bit of clothing over it and forget it's there. Makes it a bit easier to function.
Hmm.
Mm. Anyhow, I should have really asked if you had any particular things you wanted to say to it. But yes, rest assured either way. It's a very temporary thing. You are not going to live with this. Not forever.
He just sort of leans into Lao, and he does leave another little kiss on Lao's cheek. Thank you.
You have got to stop saying that. I've not done anything worth being thanked for.
Let me be the judge of that.
Mm. He kind of leans back a little and squints at Chifley and looks around his face. Well, you see, on one hand, I would like to trust your judgment on this. On the other hand, you have proven that sometimes your judgment is questionable.
But Lau, you don't have another hand at the moment. You've only got one.
He stops and he blinks, and Chifley hears a crunching sound. Would you like to roll a dex?
Save.
Yes. Yes, please.
That's a 14.
Oh, sake now. Of all the things to roll high on, so unfortunately, even though your instincts do tell you incoming, um, you don't dodge out of the way in time as you get tossed in the face with some snow.
Fortunately, Chifley is doesn't have any problems with cold, but he will just sort of brush the snow off his face and chuckle a little bit.
You, Mr. Forde, are completely fucking shameless. I mean that I now yes, I have no words for how that was. And you see his lineups do like a wiggle and a shake.
It wasn't my best work, no.
I mean, we both know you can do better than that.
I'm tired.
Mm, that you are, I suppose. And he looks around. It is still dark. Um, I don't know if after these sorts of things, would you like to try and go back to sleep, or would you like to stay up for a little while?
He's sort of gonna look around and look at his bed and the hole in it, and sort of pull a face and then go. I I think maybe being up for a bit until I figure out what to do about that.
Mm. Oh, right. Um, well, I do. I think I have a. I think I might have a suggestion for how to deal with that. Um, and as he says that, you hear a bump, from next door, and then like a slow creak from the door, and like a whoo as Soul's head comes peeking around.
Hi, Saul.
Uh, you see Soul's outline kind of wiggle. Um, and Lau says, "No, no jumping, no jumping." And Soul stops, freezes midair, and then very slowly puts the feet back on the ground. And they scooch on their belly towards Chifley, mindless of the snow, and they plop their head on Chifley's lap.
Cheerful just pat them. Sorry, did I wake you up too?
I mean, fine. They're trained for this sort of thing. Well, they're principally based on it. Very good at sensing distress in people. Mm.
Therapy planned, I guess.
Yes, I suppose that is rather an apt description for them. And there is a very fond look on Mal's face, and his line art is soft and fluffy. He also pets Soul.
Hmm. I know it might not mean much, but if if you really do get this off, I hope that I get the opportunity to return the favor.
Allows line up, smudges a little, and he smiles at Chifley. Chifley, I can assure you that once I make a promise, I'm not very keen on breaking them. If I say I'm going to get that fucking thing off of you, it's coming off. There's no if involved. And as for helping me, um, I don't think there is. Whilst I appreciate the offer, I don't think that's really an opportunity that you have. But should should a case arise where I would need such a thing, then I suppose you're welcome to the challenge.
Well, I guess we'll have to see, won't we?
Mm. I mean, we do still have that fucking teapot to worry about. He
Yeah.
tilts his head back.
Yeah.
Mm.
I haven't seen your mother since she visited me. Do you really think she's got the one who's got that information for us?
Val's line art deepens and darkens and gets like scraggier around the edges. I cannot think of anyone else that would be able to. There's no one else that could have gotten into my apartment to have left that particular item there and then left unaccosted. There's only one person at that time that would have been able to do that without anyone noticing, without me noticing.
You don't like her, do you?
Oh no, truthfully, I no, I don't like her all that much, I'm afraid.
Hmm. That's a shame.
Mm, but
And
it is what it is.
you can see on Chif's face, he's like, I wish I had the courage to ask, but I'm not gonna.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna roll something for now. Would Chifley like to roll an insight?
Sure. Come on, Chif. Yeah!
A Chifley, you look at Lau and he's sort of staring into little distance and petting Soul with his one spare hand, and he looks contemplative. Like he looks like he wants to say something.
Chif's gonna lean into him a little bit more. Just to, like, dropping his head onto Lau's shoulder kind of thing.
Um, Lau doesn't look, but he does drop his head onto Chifley's, still stroking Soul. Mm, Chifley. Um, Regarding the whole teapot thing,
Hmm.
it, it's not quite the same as that. And he kind of does a little wiggle. Um, as what you have, but if for some reason I if for some reason I would not be able to accompany you and the others in taking this thing back, wherever it's come from, would you be all right doing it for me?
Of course I would.
I just want to say I'm not intending to die or anything. This isn't a final send off of if I die, then please, this is my last request. No, fuck that. That my last request is not going to be that. If I die, I want you to kill whatever killed me. Um, but if for some reason I can't go with you, then I would appreciate if you could take it back wherever the hell it came from.
Are you expecting to be unable to come with us?
That would depend on a few things, and I can't say for certain if those things will happen.
Insight. It's a 15.
Mm, loud, nervous, and a little jittery, and like he's keeping something to himself.
Hmm. Chip's gotta make an assumption and see whether that drags out. You don't want to see her, do you?
I. It's not as simple as I don't want to see her. It, it's a lot more complicated than that. Um, but I think the simplest way I can put it is that when we do meet her, depending on how that meeting goes, will probably depend on whether or not I will end up going with you or not.
Yeah, does sound complicated.
Mm. Oh, there are. I'm sure there are. I'm sure the story of my mother's past and my people's past and all that could fill 100,000 books. And this would just be a sad, silly little chapter in one of them. And however it goes, I trust that things. I trust that you, at least, will you you'll follow through and make sure that things end up all right.
He nods. Whether you come with us or not, I'm going to make sure it can't hurt you again.
Mm. That's Thank you. It's very nice of you to say.
Furthermore, if you die, I have Revivify. You're going to be able to kick that person's butt on your own. And he just gives a smile and a little bit of a nudge, and then sort of leans into him some more.
Mm. Yes, yes, I'm sure if anything would happen to me, I'm sure that I won't be down for long.
No. Though, having said that, goodness knows whether or not by the time I finish casting that spell to bring you back, the thing that killed you would still be alive. Between
Mm,
Drew and Austin and Carmina.
mm. I just suppose that if something does happen to me, again, hypothetically, not planning on dying, I am more likely to drag it down with me before I let it outright kill me. But if something does happen, um, this hypothetical it, as it were, if something were to happen to me, I you don't have to, of course. If you would rather it be Drew or even Carmina, um, if something were to happen to me, and he looks down at the green skin he is petting, just make sure that Soul is taken care of.
Yeah, I will. But like I said, you won't stay down for long. You're
Exactly. I
much
mean,
too
this is
stubborn anyway.
absolutely. I mean, this is a pointless if comforting conversation because I'm not going to die, and I'm never going to die. It's as simple as that. I won't let myself die. I doubt very much that Soul would be entirely. Actually, I don't think Soul even has a concept. And now looks down. Soul, do you know what death is? And Soul is just lounging on your laps, their tail bud wiggling, lapping the floor. Hmm. I think that's a no. I don't think death means anything to you now, does it? Why should it?
That's why should it?
Mm.
I'm quite envious of you
Mm.
sometimes, Soul. And he just gives Soul another like big pat, pat, pat.
Wiggle, 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 wiggle. I wouldn't have even too much. I mean, yes, they are very carefree. They can go wherever they want. They get fed and watered and plenty of sun. And they can do pretty much bugger all, and nobody can do anything to stop them. However, the price to pay for that is not a single thought in that head of theirs. Nothing. It's completely empty. I'm surprised they even understand when I ask them to do something.
That's not completely empty. Got a
Are
lot
you
of
sure?
yeah, got a lot of care up
Mm.
in here.
Oh, no, that's not stored in there. And he reaches up and he taps the head. No, no, it's stored right down there. And he points at the tail bud that is smacking against the floor violently.
Yeah, maybe.
The more it vibrates, the more they care.
Oh, maybe just sunflower seeds up this end then.
Yeah, something like that. Mm.
Chifley
Anyhow, that
will
was a
sort of sit
point.
up. He'll stretch a little bit, and
Oh, something. Oh, God, now you're pathetic. Okay, it's a two. Now is very unsussily looking and then looking away.
with a two, Chif can't roll lower than that.
No, he fucking can't.
Okay, let me see what your deception is, Chifley. That's a nut! Whoa! Oh dear! Chip is tried to hide the fact that he's noticed Lau looking at him, and he can't, and now he's just sitting there blushing. Oh no.
Now noticing, Chifley, noticing him looking at Chifley. Soul kill. Yeah, no, Lau's just gonna half look away. Right, yes, there was a point, staying up, and yes, right, he is gonna grab his staff, and he is going to attempt to lift himself up off the floor by himself. He is not using Soul for help because he's a silly man, and well, that's a 5.
Oh no. Well,
He
here's
he
what
gets
Chip's
like
gonna
halfway up.
do. It's Kevin Don't all over again. Oh
They
dear.
can't help themselves.
They can't help it. Except I think because Lau got a 5 and Chif got a 3, Chif can fall on Lau this time.
Oh god, I feel like they both land on Soul.
Oh
With a
gosh.
squishy.
Yeah. Rather than on the pointy ice floor. Yes, that's much preferable.
Yeah. Tiffany is going to hear a very squeaky. This is becoming a bad habit.
Just going to sort of push himself off, and he's doing a full face anime blush. Yeah. One of these days I'll remember I can't lift you. Sorry.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And he lifts both of his. He lifts one of his. He lifts both of his arms up to his face. And he attempts to cover his face. Unfortunately, the side that is the side of his hand that Chifley could see, his hand is missing, and he can see like the outline gets fuzzy and fluffy and wiggly. And,
Oh dear. I think Chif will sort of push himself off, and he'll grab his shirt to pull it back on. And it just sort of take a little bit longer than necessary to adjust his shirt and brush himself off. And then in a more sensible fashion, he'll actually offer Lau his arm and just go, I can offer support if we're planning it.
well, I suppose I can accept. I can accept support, if not a hand, and then he holds out his handless arm for Chifley to take. Yes.
And Tiff will just
Um,
help him to the door.
Yep.
Just close the door on his apartment. Like, that is a tomorrow problem once they're all out in the hallway.
Hang on.
Oh, dear.
Hang on.
Oh,
Hang
yeah.
on. Please roll me a perception
Oh, okay.
as you pass through the living room.
Okay, yes, absolutely. 6.
Oh, there's a lot of snow and ice piled about. They just look like a lot of lumps for Chifley. He can't really make anything out. But Chifley will notice that Lau kind of does a double take and squints at some of that. I will say you might even hear a as you close the door though.
Like a kicked puppy kind of noise.
No, like that noise.
I didn't hear it. The mic didn't pick it up.
That's fine. You might hear like a little miniature ho ho hoing noise.
Oh, fucking a saying. Oh dear. Yeah, okay. Amazing. All
It's
right.
very early in the season.
It is very early in the season. They're getting bold. They were attracted by all of the snow and ice. Oh dear. Oh dear. Ah. Well, that's an idea. I'll put in my ideas pile.
Uh-oh.
Never mind.
I hope it does.
All right. So yeah, once they're all out of Chif's apartment, he's going to close the door and be like, "I'm not thinking about that whole mess until later." And then he's just sort of look at the hallway and go, "Wow."
Uh, don't worry about that. It's a tomorrow problem. Um, and Lau, who is leaning against Chifley, just pushes his door open. Um, Actually, no, he doesn't because the door's already fucking open. It got banged open.
Yeah.
Um, so it just kind of he just pushes it to swing inwards instead of outwards, and then just hugs Chifley and says, "Um, so I don't know if you would rather um sitting in the living room or," and then he kind of looks down the hallway and then back up at Chifley.
I don't mind.
Well, um, if you don't mind, then um he's gonna do a little wiggle. Um and he is gonna slowly make his way down the hallway towards his room.
Aw. Aw.
Yeah,
Chif's supporting him, so obviously he'll go with.
yeah.
And
Um
he just
and
made me smile a bit.
I don't have any like plans for after, unless you do.
Nah.
No? Yeah. So yeah, no, they just enter Lau's room, past the wooden beads, and I think Soul is probably gonna be next door doing something. Who knows what? We don't know.
Chip's not worried. He
Yeah,
knows Sol can get out of his apartment with no problems at all. So,
it's fine. It's fine. Soul is sipping all of the water juice. It
oh
will be
yes,
dry. Soul is sure it will be dry.
slow release sippy.
Yes, sponge activated.
Wonderful, wonderful.
I imagine if Chifley does want to go back to sleep, though, Lau is Lau's not going to send him to the couch.
I think Chip will try and stay up a little bit, but like Lau can tell that now that the adrenaline has start of like all of that has started to wear off, there's a crash coming.
Oh yeah, it's fucking nap time.
Yeah.
Get in the nest. It is nest time. It is sleep.
I think Chip really quite likes sleeping in the nest because, like, he can position himself in lots of different ways than on a bed, and he doesn't have to have his back touch anything.
Yeah, but yes. Um, I think if nothing else, that is how that goes. Oh, oh, I hold Chippy so much.
I
Hold so
love
gently.
them.
I did not untap all of the angst as much as I wanted to. Unfortunately, I hold up now. This man is so fucking socially awkward and bad at comforting people. He does not know what he's fucking doing.
I think Lau did fine. He did
This
fine. When it
man,
comes to Chifley, one good way to cheer Chifley up is to just curse at him, apparently. Chif thinks that's hilarious.
Now was like, I don't know what the like. I know like the very basics of how to get someone like away from bad nightmare time, but beyond beyond waking them up, like comforting wise, I don't fucking know what I'm doing. I was not made for a comfort. Give you some stuff afterwards because it has given me some things.
Oh, wonderful. And Lau now has two voices stuck in his memory that he gets to rotate.
Two voices?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, two whole voices. I'm gonna interrogate you about that. Bite you. Bite you.
All right. Well, how about we leave them there? We'll say goodbye to our
Yes.
audience, and you can interrogate me off the call.
Yes. Yes. Thank you all for listening to this.
This has
Thank
been
you
so
all for
fun.
listening.
I love it.
Yeah. Also, we didn't get to pry open Lao, but don't worry. I'm sure Whis and I can come up with another way to crack Lao like a fucking walnut egg.
We're gonna knock him open and get all of the tasty, tasty lore on the inside.
Law and trauma. Law
Yay!
and trauma.
Oh dear. Alright, I gotta stop my recording. Thanks everybody. Bye bye.
Bye bye.